National champions from 29 different countries have gathered to battle it out for the 2022 World Singles Champion of Champions title. This year the event has been held here at the Naenae Bowling Club in Wellington, New Zealand. Naenae boasts 3 beautiful Maniatoto greens and 1 covered artificial, which means that play can happen here in rain, hail or shine. Naenae also plays host to world-class hospitality facilities, and this ensures that not only do players enjoy their bowling here, but are also well fed and watered whilst doing so. Hi, I'm Alex Reid, and here we are undercover at the Naenae Bowling Club, the hosts for the 2022 World Champion of Champions Singles. This week we've got 46 different athletes competing, and each of them is a national singles champion. For some of them, like the Kiwis, Taylor Bruce and Kelvin Scott, that means they've won an open singles championship, whereas others have had to win their club, regional and then progress to the national event to be here today. As I said before, the event goes for the week. The first 5 days are section play and then 2 days of post-section, and every game takes place over 2 sets of 9 ends with a 3-in tie break if required. We have an incredible 29 countries here represented by their national champions. They are Australia, Botswana, Canada, the Cook Islands, Cyprus, England, the Falkland Islands, Fiji, Guernsey, Hong Kong, Hungary, Ireland, Israel, Jersey, Malaysia, Namibia, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Niue, Norfolk Island, Samoa, Scotland, Singapore, South Africa, Sweden, Switzerland, the United States of America, Wales and Zambia. Cool, and here I am now at the end of Days 1 play with Brett O'Reilly. How are you feeling, Brett? And can you just, before we get started with the results, talk a bit about your role with World Bowls and why you're attending this event?
Kia ora, Alex, and welcome everybody to this coverage. I'm the Regional Director for Oceania for World Bowls, because this event is being played in my territory, it's natural that I'm here representing the World Bowls directors. Really important event for us because it's about reconnecting countries and competitors. You know, we've all been through COVID and that resulted in the postponement of our World Bowls event. And this World Champion of Champions event hasn't been played for some time, so great to get everybody back together. It's been amazing the support we've had with so many countries coming to New Zealand for the event, and also a useful opportunity for me to catch up with some of the Pacific Island countries. Not all of them made it to the Commonwealth Games at Leamington Spa earlier in the year, so good to be here and have an opportunity to discuss some of the plans we've got for World Bowls with a lot of change underway.
Absolutely, and that's exciting stuff. And we've, as I said, at the end of day 1 and at the beginning of day 1, we did have a little bit of rain, Brett. What were your feelings this morning when you sort of turned up and we saw the rain-drenched greens?
Well, this is very much my old hometown. I grew up in this area, so I know the weather pretty well. And the forecast wasn't great, and I think we thought for a long time we wouldn't get any play outside. Fortunately, at this magnificent Naenae facility, we have this wonderful indoor green where we're broadcasting from. It's a 40 metre by 40 metre indoor green, so we can get plenty of rinks in here. And it really proved to be a saviour for us this morning. We were able to play a number of games here. And then hats off to the Naenae Bowling Club green staff who just did a magnificent job. As you saw, those greens were absolutely soaked. But they got all that water off there, and we managed to get a round in this afternoon outside on the beautiful Maniatoto greens as you talked about. And I think the players really enjoyed both. This is an outdoor World Champion of Champions event, but obviously with the weather forecast still looking a bit uncertain for the next few days, it's a great backup to have this wonderful indoor facility.
Yeah, and it was a great job in getting the greens working. I took a few, I'm one of the van drivers for this event, so I took a few van loads, and I did mention to the players, look, it's raining now, but as long as it stops raining, it won't take the green staff long to get the greens back up and running. I don't think I was believed, so I was pleased to be proven right. And
yeah, I had a number of the competitors said to me, look, there's no way we'll be playing out there today. You know, they just won't be able to get the greens ready. But that is one of the unique things with the Maniatoto surface, and with having, you know, just such a dedicated team here. And I think the players were just delighted to be able to get all of the games that they were due to play on this first day out of the way, and we've seen some great results.
Yes, absolutely. And on that note, I think it's time to check out the results for day one, Brett. We'll just see if they come up on our fancy screen for us. And I'll let you take it away.
Well, look, in the women's section, the real big surprise of the day was in the first round where Naenae from the United States beat Steph Branfield from England. Steph's from a bowling family. Her father, Pip Branfield, played for England and actually toured New Zealand some years ago with an England team.
And so lucky enough to have some highlights from that game here, Brett.
Yeah. And Naenae playing with the bowls in the colours of the United States of America. She was just really too steady on the day, and backed that up with performances later in the day as well.
And what was certainly a comfortable win. I'm sure she'll take a lot of confidence from that. I mean, if you're starting off a day and from the USA, which I think it's fair to say they're not one of the more well-known bowling countries, are they, Brett? To start off a day with a win like that against England must have been quite satisfying for her.
Yeah, look, it was convincing fashion. I mean, Anne's no stranger to international bowls. She's pretty experienced, and we also see Carla Krasanik from Australia. Carla's just recently retired from the Australian squad, but she's been around international bowls for quite some time, and would be one of the favourites for this event. She recorded two good wins, beginning against Namibia this morning, and we saw some other really good games in that women's section. But already starting to see players like Krasanik, like Nunez, and in the other section, which we'll come to in a minute, Taylor Bruce of New Zealand. She did really well in her first round game against the Netherlands. We also saw the Welsh player clock up 2 wins. She beat Steph Branfield in the afternoon game. So so look, I think already in that section you can see that I would say New Zealand, Wales, Australia, the United States, and perhaps Malaysia as the countries to watch for. But it's a long series of section play games in this competition.
Certainly.
And there's plenty of opportunity for people to bounce back.
And as we scroll down to round 3, do you just want to explain? I see there, and eagle-eyed viewers will see there too, that there are some numbers that have some more numbers afterwards.
Yeah.
What's that about, Brett?
Yeah, so look, regretfully, we had 3 competitors that were scheduled to play in this World Champion of Champions event who were denied transit visas through Australia. They'd managed to get their visas to come to New Zealand, but because they were transiting Australia, for reasons that we're not entirely certain about, but I did talk to one of the countries, Zambia. Their men's player managed to come through, but he's travelling on an English passport. But unfortunately, 3 of the competitors couldn't get in, and that's resulted in defaults in those sections. We can work our way through that, but certainly unfortunate for those players to have got visas to come here, but just not have been able to travel through Australia. And this is a chance of the lifetime for many of those players and countries to participate in this. So yeah, that's a bit disappointing.
Unfortunate for sure. As we move on now to the men's results, we see from, I think there's 2 sections in the men's. So we start off with the men's section. Men's section A in the first round there. What do we see, Brett? Yeah,
look, one of the highlights in that first section, and it's a pretty strong section, was a good win for Kelvin Scott, the New Zealand champion, over Gary McCloy. Gary's a very, very seasoned and credentialed player from Ireland, so that was a good win for Kelvin. And then Sam Tolchard, Sam's the English champion. Viewers will have seen him in action at the Commonwealth Games as part of that England team, and he's a very seasoned international. He had a good win in the opening round against Fiji, and followed that up later in the day. And so in that section, certainly, I think we can expect to see Kelvin Scott and Sam Tolchard emerge as the favoured players to come through.
Absolutely. We'll just scroll down to round 2 and just have a look and see what happened there. And we saw, again, like you're saying, Kelvin Scott certainly in fine form at this early stage.
Yeah, second round he played Cecil Alexander from the Falkland Islands. Great to see the Falklands here. They don't have a bowling green on the Falkland Islands, so they have to play on mats inside, and so wonderful to see them here and doing well. We saw Trevor Gow from Norfolk Island with a good win in his game over Guernsey. And also, as we go down to round 3, you'll see again a second win for Trevor Gow from Norfolk, this time over Cecil Alexander from the Falklands in a tiebreaker.
Yes.
So we have 2 sets of 9 ends. And then if they're tied 1 set apiece, we go to a 3-end tiebreaker.
Lots of tiebreakers in round 3 by the look.
There were, and I should point out that round 3 was played outside, so maybe just a little bit tighter conditions. We saw a really good win for Sam Tolchard against a Samoan opponent, though the second set was a lot closer than the first. A real upset in the game between Guernsey and Ireland, with the Guernsey player getting up to win that in a tiebreaker.
Incredible scenes as well. I can tell you, we were both watching that game, Brett, and it was an incredible game of bowls to witness, to be fair.
It was. So starting to see early on those favoured players come through that first section.
Yeah, but as we now move on to the section B, the final section of Days 1's play for the men's, and we see there in the first one, again, Brett, some people.
Yeah, look, some standout performances in this section. So Royden Apiro, one of the real young guns from the Cook Islands. Royden was at the Commonwealth Games and he had a good win over Namibia in the first game. It was quite a tight match. I watched a bit of that game. A good win for Niue over Canada in the first round. Great to see Niue represented here, one of our smaller nations. And again, you can see Charlie Herbert from the USA. He had a walkover against the Kenyan opponent who couldn't get here, and a great win for Zoltan Pavelka from Hungary. He's been at this event a few times, and he said to me normally he's only won 1 game when he's been here, and a couple of times.
Good start.
He was delighted. He was really chuffed with his performance in that first round.
As we move on to round 2 now of the section B, and we see there again.
So one of the standout players for me today was Kevin James from Wales. So Kevin had 2 tie-break wins over his Malaysian opponent in the first game, and we'll see his result later for the second round. And then, of course, probably the favourite in the men's field is Lee Schreiner from Australia.
Absolutely, the defending champion, of course.
Yes, won this event in Adelaide several years ago, and Lee's in fine form. I mean, he's a consummate singles player, and he was really commanding in his win over Israel. And as we move to round 3, you'll see that again Lee was just devastating against his Swiss opponent. Winning that game 21-3, 16-2.
That's incredible stuff there from Lee Schreiner.
And look, it really was, and and great to see him in such good form. And we saw that Kevin James from Wales got up against his opponent from Jersey, Ross Davis. So again, that was a pretty good performance, and the second one there for Royden Apiro, this time over Hungary. So in that section, I think from day one, Lee Schreiner, Kevin James, Royden Apiro, they'll be the players that we'll be watching tomorrow. But look, it's very early in the competition, and anyone can come back into contention. Also, today we were playing indoor and outdoor.
Yes.
Tomorrow we expect to be outdoors in the morning.
That was my next question for you, Brett. You're the sort of the weather oracle, having grown up, you say, just down the road. So I'm expecting big things from what you're about to tell me next in regards to the weather.
And, we're in the Hutt Valley, and when those black clouds get in the middle of the valley, it takes a bit to move them. And fortunately Wellington doesn't lack wind, but it didn't have much around this morning, and that's why we got so much rain. So the forecast says to us that we'll probably get rain in the afternoon. So I expect we'll get a full round in outside, touch wood, and then complete the rest of the event inside. Players aren't unhappy about it. I mean, they just want to be playing, and they recognise that it's challenging circumstances with the weather. All surfaces are great, fantastic Maniatoto greens outside, really good greens inside, and I expect we'll just be up for some more competition. So great to see so many people here today. Really
Absolutely.
Good support. I mean, there were some bowls cancelled around Wellington, which enabled people to come here. But, free entry, you get a chance to see some of the best players in the world in action, and a really good spirit between the players, and great to see, we had, all the local umpires involved. Really, the games flowed really well. So I think from a World Bowls perspective, we couldn't be happier with the work that Bowls New Zealand, Bowls Wellington and the Naenae Club have done in preparing and now running this tournament.
Absolutely, and looking forward to the next week of the event running, Brett. And sort of, I suppose, on a final note for me, if you're a viewer and you're looking for some in-depth results, they're available on the Bowls New Zealand website and Facebook page. We've got a standings ladder, and also all the results. And also, I'm hoping you're going to come back as well, Brett, because we will be doing these reviews every day at the end of play, where we'll just go through and just pick your brain about some bits and pieces.
Absolutely, very keen to be involved, Alex. And I think to the viewers, if there are particular players that you're interested in, or there's any dimension about the tournament, please take advantage of the social media channels. Let us know what you'd like to hear, and we'll try and make sure we cover someone from your country and what they're doing in this tournament.
Absolutely, and on that note, sit back, relax and enjoy as we play a list of highlights from today's play to finish off this show.